My life became, I was liberated when I had my head shaved because I got rid of my hairspray and my hair dryer and the whole 9 yards.
And what another iconic Marty moment when you cut your hair. Because it wasn't just you decided to get a haircut, but
I lost a bet with Chris Spire, who was Dusty Baker's bench coach in May. They just finished winning sweeping a series here. And we were on a Delta charter waiting while the luggage was being loaded. And he and I were standing up in the aisle at plane talking. And he said, this club, the way it's playing, has got a chance to win 10 games in a row. I said, no, it doesn't. He said, why would you say that? I said, because it doesn't consistently hit enough or pitch enough. So fast forward to the end of July, I have no more recollection of that conversation of the man in the moon. We go into Denver, and the Reds had won 7 in a row. They win Friday night. They win Saturday night. Now we're leaving Sunday to come home. Amanda's with me, and I go to the ballpark that morning, and I walk in the clubhouse, and it looks like New Year's Eve. And I'm standing there with a perplexed look on my face, and Spire walked up, and he observed me, and he said, you don't remember, do you? I said, what the heck's going on in here? He said, you don't remember. I said, no, I don't. What are you talking about? He said, let me take you back to May, when we were standing on a plane talking about how well this guy. Said, stop. He said, you remember what I asked you? I said, yeah. You asked me if they won 10 in a row, would I shave my head? And I said, yes. He said, you going to do the moral, ethical thing here? I said, absolutely I am. And then it happened the following Friday night, and I was introduced to Dragonfly, which was one of the greatest events in my life. And these poor children who know nothing but pain, and I have a hard time understanding it. I'm not the most religious person in the world, but I just can't imagine why a young child knows nothing but pain and agony. And some are lucky enough to overcome it and look back on it. Others don't make it. But my connection with them was a great thing for me. And so it was the biggest night of my life in that ballpark that had nothing directly to do with the game of baseball or my broadcasting.
Well, I don't think many people remember that you lost a bet. I think they remember that moment where you turned it into a fundraiser, big awareness for that.
And the funny thing is, when I'm getting my head shaved, Amanda's standing there, and I had my guy come and cut my hair because Matt Latos wanted to do it. And I said,
I was going to say, there were probably people lined up wanting to cut your hair.
Hell will freeze over before you get a chance to
Matt
touch
Latos.
my head, because I wasn't a big fan of his either. And they got a certain point, my barber did, and Amanda said, that's it right there. And I said, that's what? She said, that's where you're going to, that's how you're going to look for the rest of your life. And since the road to matrimonial bliss has been a very expensive one for me. And thank God for her. And when she said it, it's a gospel, pal.